But I just wanted to get a little end spot here of the video that I just finished watching, because I think it's an interesting exchange. I made my way to RT, specifically the Worlds Apart part of RT. Worlds Apart being it's an interview show. I like the host. I gotta be honest. I think she's pretty smart, and she's it's interesting to hear a smart woman who was raised in the Soviet Union speak about it from the other side. I believe that this is actually Khrushchev's granddaughter, if you want to put that in context. And she takes a kind of a naive view about communism, right? Which is what you would expect from somebody that grew up in a culture, right? She reflects the prevailing opinions of her culture, right? Which is this idea that communism started off as a good idea, but they made a lot of errors and ended up falling apart in the end, right? Not the same as you'd hear in the West, right? And certainly not what I'm used to hearing or what I'm used to saying, as a Western leftist, which is that it didn't start with good intentions. It started, and that's the problem. It's not that it started off well and then fell apart. It's that it started off in the wrong direction, and was never able to right itself, right? But she's interesting. I mean, it's not. You're not going to get that perception or that opinion from much of anywhere else, right? It's just this is an idiosyncrasy of Russian media. And anyways, I wanted to just get a little bit, so I'm going to set that up. So, Mr. Dawkins, I am a fan of the, I believe, much misunderstood Mr. Dawkins. I know that a lot of people in my tribe tend to look at Dawkins as though he's some kind of enlightened conservative. I think it's as much of a function of the collapse of the left as it is anything else, right? Dawkins sounds like the radical leftist if you listen to him talk, and you know what radical leftism is. I mean, since when was the radical left about religious freedom? The radical left has never been about religious freedom. even acknowledging that Dawkins is a lot more moderate than his opponents would suggest, but I mean the radical left is about plurality of religious choice, multiculturalism. Like what? What? That's what we call liberals. In truth, I think that Dawkins is probably the conclusion of Kropotkin in a lot of ways. His whole gene theory is exactly what anarchism needs. I know that people are going to look back at the 20th century and look at Noam Chomsky as the most important anarchist, and Chomsky is he's essential to listen to in a certain way. His arguments are very cogent. But I don't think he's the most important anarchist thinker like out there at the moment. In fact, I think that Richard Dawkins has the most important concepts for the left. This whole concept of reciprocity, It's all about altruism, and the biology of altruism, and this perception that's come up about, around him, due to the fact that he takes a pretty standard left-wing approach towards religion, is really quite unfortunate. And so I'm just going to record this short exchange here, because I find it interesting in the way that it presents Dawkins in the proper context that is so often so missing.
And finally, I wonder if religion stop making those unsubstantiated claims about the origins of the universe and would embrace some sort of, let's say, definition of God that would be similar to Einstein's. Would you be willing to drop your objections against religion? How do you see the evolution?
I would have no objection to an Einsteinian religion as long as people don't confuse it with supernaturalism. I think that Einstein made a mistake in using religious language because people had been misled by that. Einstein used the word God and he didn't actually believe in any kind of God. He was a pantheist, and I'd be happy to go along with that kind of religion. I just wouldn't call it religion.
But how do you see the future of religion? If you seem to be agreeing that the social and emotional function that it serves is a very important one. Do you see any institution that could either substitute that or a way in which religion could evolve? If I just ask you to use your imagination and let's say imagine religion in 100 years.
I wouldn't call it religion. I think we need human comfort, psychological comfort, human comfort, emotional counseling, all these sorts of things. People get help from each other. We're a social species. We put our arms around each other to comfort each other. We don't need supernatural spooks in order to do that.
Absolutely, but my point is that religion, as of now, is pretty much the only, or perhaps a very rare, social institution that has these open door policies. Science doesn't. You have to, meet certain criteria to be a science.
But counseling does, psychology does.
But you have to pay for that. The religion provides it free of charge.
Well, we shouldn't. I mean, I'd like to see a more socialistic approach to that kind of thing, to mental health.
So you have that feeling the return to the Soviet Union?
I think social goodwill is something that we can achieve without overbearing dictatorial ordering about.
Well, Mr. Dawkins, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Haha! See, this is... I just like that exchange. Actually, let's just... So we're going to cut the end of this off. We'll go back and we'll just end it there.